Hello, everyone. Welcome to Court with Krissy. This isn't even close to Dynasty, or Dallas, or Days of Our Lives for that matter. But it is drama, and I think Daniel might be a little drunk. I hope you like it. Court with Krissy is now in session.
Donna Smith, Daniel Kalich.
Here, Your Honor.
Ms. Smith. Mr. Kalich, need to activate your audio and video.
Here, Your Honor. Here, Your Honor.
Okay, both raise your hands for me. Ms. Smith, raise your right hand, please. Yes, thank you. Swear the testimony in this case will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Smith, you and Mr. Kalich used to have a relationship?
Correct. It was a business relationship.
Okay. And you indicate that Mr. Kalich has sort of contacted you nonstop. You said he sent you 250 texts regarding, is it payment or?
No, Your Honor. Not only did he send the 250, that was my original complaint, then he added another, I don't know, I have a total of 51 pages at this point of unwanted text messaging. It had to do with he felt like he was in love with my niece, rambling about my batshit crazy mother. A lot of rambling. I think he needs some evaluations done personally, and I have requested that.
And looking at the nature of those texts, you know, I was having a difficult time trying to figure out exactly what the conversation was. So you indicate it was about your niece?
And some of it was about my niece. I think that's
and then I also saw the things about your mom.
And then wanting to take over the Weaver Dynasty. Pretty bizarre behavior.
What's the Weaver Dynasty?
We have, my folks have several properties that they rent out, and I manage properties. So I have a large number of management contracts in place, and I had been hiring him to work on some of the projects we had.
Mm-hmm.
And so he seems to think that it's a dynasty. I don't know.
Right. I saw the language in there. I wasn't sure if it was a television show or what it was. Okay. So I couldn't tell in the texts that had been submitted as evidence. Did at some point you tell Mr. Kalich you did not want him contacting you?
Yes.
And where in that 200, and I don't mean specifically where, but how many texts after you said no more contact, how many times did he contact you?
In group texting, let me look here. He started texting 5 of us. And let me look and see where I pretty much, he started threatening, talking about if something happened tonight, it would be our fault because we had given him keys to a rental unit to do work. That's what began the high concern. Let's see, it would have been on the 16 pages that he sent directly to me. I asked him on October, would have been let me look for the date, October 5th. I had suggested that what he was sending me was not appropriate and that he probably should start attending some meetings. He continued with that until we hit I asked him to meet me the following Monday as I was out of town at the time. And then on October 11th, he apologized. Between the 12th and the 13th, he sent another probably 70 texts. I told him I'd meet him on Monday at the office. Then he continued with texting, and I asked him to stop that kind of behavior. I'd appreciate it if he would please stop. That would have been on the 13th of October. He continued until, I don't know, probably 7 o'clock that night. I ignored the text messages, and then he began texting all 5 in our group. Let me see if that was the same evening. I believe it was, because he went till 1 o'clock in the morning. That was on the 13th. Yeah, he started in on our group text right after 7 o'clock, and then went to 2 o'clock the following morning.
Right. Okay, and then some of the language in those texts, I'm assuming you're here because you perceive the language as threatening
Correct.
physical harm.
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Kalich,
Yes.
anything you want to say?
Oh, yeah. So, first of all, there's nothing threatening in there. As you can see, the worst thing that was threatening is a hypothetical that if something had happened to the 13-year-old girl tonight, then they would have been at fault, which of course she would have, since she already fired me. And to put in writing that the reason she fired me was because I'm unsafe around her customers, even though I had never been unsafe around her customers, but only had at that point texted Donna some concerns of mine in a very, albeit very, foul language way. Okay. So, then I proceeded to work and by the way, I should say, Donna, I don't actually work for her. I work for her dad. So I have worked for Donna in the past, but since this whole episode began, I started working for her parents, and her parents paid me. Her dad paid me, and then I started working for her dad and Donna's sister, Diane, and Donna's sister paid me. And currently, all the work I've been doing was for Donna's dad and Donna's sister, Diane, and which I thought was bizarre that Donna fired me, since she never wasn't the one that hired me, and I don't have any contract with Donna at all. In any case, so I was upset with Donna because of first, she knew my political stances that are very, very adamantly against Trump, and she knew her parents were avid Trump supporters, and she should have known that was probably potentially not a great situation, and maybe some discussion should have been had about it. I should have had the foresight to discuss it. I will agree with that. I thought I could get through it without mentioning politics. Now, all this to say, so everything was going fine with the Weavers till I met the Shanna, who's a 44-year-old alcoholic with 2 kids. Now, she's a very nice person, but immediately after getting involved with Shanna, then I started, she was lying to everybody about her alcoholism, which was really concerning to me, especially because it's such a close-knit family. So that meant that because I was working for all of them, I in turn was lying to all of them about my concerns about her alcoholism and covering it up. In any case, all this came to a head because of Shanna and her alcoholism, and then me making the poor decision to start drinking. And so one night I was frustrated at Donna because of getting me into this situation, especially because of not warning me about her 44-year-old alcoholic niece that was single. And so anyway, and I understand I'm an adult and I make my own decisions, but yet it seems like the communication was lacking. Now, after Donna, I texted Donna, she was away. said I'll meet with you the following Monday. Meanwhile, I don't know what she's referring about all the texts in the meantime prior to the 13th, because if she's including texts to Shanna, that's between Shanna and myself. Okay, so the 13th, I meet with Donna in the morning, and she gives me the record of text that I had sent her, and then gives me a letter saying she fired me in writing, and it's for being unsafe around the customers. I told Donna that morning, and then she says, but we expect you to finish the current jobs you're on. Now, I know that Donna doesn't even know about the current jobs because she's not even the manager of the current jobs, much less the owner. So I thought that was ironic. But I told Donna that, Donna, you already trust me right now to go work for your customers. Otherwise, you wouldn't have me be working for your customers. And she acknowledged that, and then we moved on. Okay, so I go there, and I knew what none of the Weavers knew about this. What happened over the weekend was the renter had moved in. So I get there after this meeting with Donna, and the renters in Unit A were there, and they said, hey, by the way, there's a 13-year-old girl in the house, in the unit. And I'm thinking to myself, there is no way I'm going to go into a unit with a 13-year-old girl in it, especially after I've been fired by Donna in writing that being unsafe around customers. So even though I had a key and had verbal permission, permission in writing from the tenant, that I was the only one that knew that moved in, except Billy knew, but nobody talks to each other around here. Billy's Donna's daughter, who's the rental manager. So in any case, I knock on the door, and thankfully it's a public place. And then because, and that's the other thing that made me mad, is because nobody told me there was going to be a 13-year-old daughter in there, because nobody knew, because nobody knows what's going on with the Weavers. So I was blindsided by it, but I would have used my key to walk in, because the 13-year-old I knocked, and the 13-year-old girl didn't respond. So I would have used my key to walk in there. That would have been, I wouldn't have done anything, but just the optics of it are not a situation I want to be in. So anyway, later on, I had outside work. I didn't enter the house. Was in contact. And by the way, okay, so I should back up. I told Donna at the meeting, the real problem was I was worried about Shanna's alcoholism. I wanted assurance from her family. They were going to get involved, put some accountability in her life, because she drives regularly drunk with kids in the car. So
Okay, so let me just get you focused here, Mr. Kalich. The complaint is that Ms. Smith says she's, in her mind, made clear to you she wants you to stop contacting her, and yet she receives voluminous numbers of texts from you subsequent to that. Talk to me about that.
So what I wanted from her, and I was pretty clear about it, is an assurance. I told the family I wanted an assurance from them that they're going to provide some accountability for Shanna's drinking, because as far as I knew, she was going to be drinking and driving on Wednesday night at soccer, after soccer. So when they called the sheriff on me that night, the sheriff, and I figured, well, I had left them alone during the course of the day. Then I find that I had missed a call from the sheriff. So I figured if there's a problem, anyway, try to be succinct. Okay. Called the sheriff back, and she said, yeah, I told them about the key policy. That was the other thing I haven't got to, that they should just be changing the locks. That should be their policy.
Why do you keep contacting Ms. Smith? Just tell me that.
Because I wanted assurances from them that they were going to do two things. One, provide some accountability for Shanna's drinking, and two, change their policy on renters and locks and stuff like that. I'm sorry. Okay. And then since nobody was giving me either one of those assurances, I just kept going. And since I had not received a restraining order, which I kept telling her is really easy to do, and since they had not blocked me, and I figured they're probably at this point leaving it open so I can, because none of the stuff I had said was at all condemning towards me, but it was condemning towards them, I just kept going. And then when Donna finally said there's a restraining order, I think that was Wednesday, and then I sent one last thing no, two things. One was an apology letter. The other was apology / explanation letter. The other was a video. And then I got the restraining order, and I was I was copying and pasting the letter to show a friend. I accidentally recopied it and pasted it on the same thread with the 5 Weavers, and that was the last contact. Then the sheriff called me and said, "Hey, you just did that." And I said, "Yes, you're right. I apologize. That was an accident." And I haven't contacted the Weavers since, except for the people that are not in the order who owe me money, which is Gene and Diane. So I've been trying to get a hold of them, because right now this whole thing is being completely devastating, because I was scheduled to work for the Weavers for the next couple of months, and then all of a sudden Donna's having this hissy fit. And so anyway, I don't have any desire to contact Donna whatsoever. And then now Billy has a restraining order against me in Grace Harbor County Court, all because of this misunderstanding that Donna could have handled by just talking to me.
All right.
Oh, and by the way, when I talked to the sheriff said she recommended not contacting the Weavers. I'll acknowledge that. But she also said that it was my responsibility to call the sheriff on Shanna for a wellness check for her kids. And so that's the reason I kept contacting them. Is I said, I'm going to call the sheriff as she recommended on Wednesday, unless I get assurances from you that you guys are going to make sure that she's not drinking and driving. And that's when Donna finally said to quit talking to her, and that they'll take care of it. Or it's none of my business, I guess, to be more precise.
All right. Okay. Listening to the two of you, it seems clear to me that Ms. Smith had made a request subtly at first, but then a bit more direct into this whole communication pattern to have you not reaching out to her. And then you felt obligated because of your belief about what you needed to do regarding Shanna.
And the advice of the sheriff, 2 sheriffs.
Okay, but regardless, you continued to violate Ms. Smith's request. So I am going to enter the protection order. You're to have no contact with Ms. Smith at all in any form. So take her off any thread that you have. Do not send her any text. Don't include her on any text. And you're not to go within 1,000 feet of her workplace, or her home. And Ms. Smith, this order will be in effect for 1 year from today's date. If you want it renewed, you'll have to come back to court and ask for it to be renewed.
Thank you. Could we ask that he have all of our cell phone numbers deleted from his phone? Is that something we could do?
No, I can't do that. And the only person who's a petitioner on this order is you. So I can't make any order regarding anybody else if they are not a minor child of yours. And I don't think I've heard anything about any minor children. So
None.
But Mr. Kalich understands he's not to have any contact with you.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Kalich.
Thank you.
And orders are available to each of you if you contact the court.
Thank you.
Yep.